This is a mushrooms and cannabis trip report by Aries, posted to Erowid.org on July 3rd, 2009. My car decided to give out early in the morning. I was supposed to drive to the market, meet friends for coffee, and then go to a small concert in the afternoon. The engine sputtered, the radiator hissed, and the whole vehicle stopped moving. I called a tow truck, but the driver would not arrive until after sunset. I was forced to stay at home for the rest of the day. At first I felt annoyed, but as I sat on the porch looking at the bright sky, I felt a strange calm. The sunlight was warm on my skin, the breeze was gentle, and the world seemed to pause for a moment. I began to think that perhaps the car breaking down was not an accident, but a sign that I should stay home and do something different. I have always respected the intelligence that lives inside plants, especially mushrooms. I decided to use this quiet afternoon to meet the mushroom spirit that I call Teonanacatl, the Aztec name for the sacred mushroom. Before I ate, I cleared my mind. I sat on the back porch, closed my eyes, and breathed slowly. I spoke my intention out loud, as if I were talking to a friend. I said, "Mushroom, I love you. I ask you to teach me about trust." I felt a little nervous because I have been feeling distant from my friends lately. I suspect that I have been missing a deeper level of trust with them. I wanted the mushroom to help me see why I feel this way. I measured out about 3 grams of dried mushrooms from my stash. I do not usually eat the whole amount at once. I normally take a piece, wait for the feeling to settle, and then decide if I need more. This time I trusted my intuition and ate the 3 grams in one sitting. After that, I lit a small bowl of cannabis, inhaled slowly, and let the smoke fill my lungs. I then put on a recording of Bach, the kind of music that makes me feel like I am floating. I sat on the porch for about 30 minutes, letting the music wash over me while the sun streamed onto my back. I thanked the mushroom spirit for its care, repeated that I love it, and felt a warm gratitude rise in my chest. I know that the mushroom can sense sincerity, so I tried to be as honest as possible. When the mushrooms began to work, I moved to my bedroom, lay down on the bed, and closed my eyes. I kept saying the word "trist" over and over like a mantra. After a while, the word seemed to echo back to me. I felt a gentle voice in my mind, as if the mushroom were answering. It told me to keep trusting. The lesson I wanted would start with trusting the mushroom itself. My thoughts became soft, and my sense of self started to dissolve. I felt my ego melt away like wax in a flame. In this space, I saw a bright picture of my life. I saw the gifts I have created, the people who have helped me, the opportunities that have come my way. I felt a deep gratitude for every small detail. I also saw myself as a bright, almost invisible being, capable of moving anywhere, capable of making anything happen. It was not an ego trip. It felt like a clear view of the truth that all humans share. The ego blocks us from seeing how much we can actually do. Then a pressure built inside me, like a hand pushing on my chest. It felt like something was trying to reach deep into my spirit. My first reaction was to block it, to say no. The mushroom voice said, "Trust me, I need to get at something in your soul. It will hurt for a moment, but it is needed." I said, "I trust you." I felt a sensation like fingers moving inside me, pulling at a loose thread. Suddenly I began to vomit, to cough, to heave, and tears ran down my face. It felt like a purge, as if the mushroom was pulling out a blockage that had been hidden for a long time. A wave of intense emotion crashed over me. I saw my friends together, laughing, waving at me, inviting me to join them. I realized that I had been mistrusting them, that I had missed the love they were offering. My heart swelled with love for them and for myself. The crying lasted a while, then it faded, and I felt the urge to use the bathroom. I tried to get up, but the mushroom voice said, "Do not go yet. Trust your body. You do not need to pee right now. There are more lessons." I stayed on the bed, listening, and after a few more insights, the mushroom finally gave permission to get up. I walked to the bathroom, washed my hands, and felt a strange loss of control in my fingers. It was as if a force from inside was trying to move my body without my consent. I closed my eyes and saw a vague human shape, not my own, entering my body. I said, "Mushroom, I give you permission. I trust you." I relaxed my muscles completely and offered myself. My arms began to move on their own. I felt a tug on my arms, as if invisible hands were pulling me toward the front of the apartment. I followed the pull, arms outstretched, feeling the tug grow stronger. I was drawn to the front window where my houseplants sit. My body slammed into the window ledge, and I fell forward onto the floor in front of the largest plant, a tall, leafy thing that I have never been able to name. I placed one of its large leaves against my face. I could feel a strong healing energy flow into me. I began to make deep, slow breaths, like a lion breathing after a hunt. The plant's energy seemed to fill every cell in my body. The mushroom spirit spoke again. It said that this plant is a healer, that if I approach it correctly, I can call on its power whenever I need it. It then told me a startling story. Long ago, humans were taken over by spirits that hate plants, spirits that want to destroy the green world. Since that time, a hidden war has been raging between the plant spirits and the anti-plant spirits. The plants have been trying to wake humanity to this battle, but most people still live under the spell of the destructive forces. I felt a surge of purpose. I declared my alliance with the plant spirits and promised to become a steward of the green world. I sat there, limp, feeling renewed, feeling awe at what was happening. My arms moved again, this time rising and moving in circles. I asked, "Are you playing with my body?" I could feel a sigh in my mind, and my arms went limp. I realized that the mushroom was trying to get me to move, but when I did not respond, it let go in frustration. The plant that had been healing me seemed to push me away, its energy becoming rigid. I was forced back, and I thought the plant was angry. I stood up and apologized, not sure what I had done wrong. Then my right arm started moving again, this time pulling me toward the back of the apartment. It felt like a hand gripping my arm and dragging me toward the back porch. I followed the pull, but when I reached the porch, I stopped and said, "Wait a minute." I told the mushroom that I was confused, that I did not like being yanked around, and that I needed a moment to get my bearings. It gave me a minute, then began to tug lightly at my arm toward the back window. I looked out and saw my garden in the backyard. I acknowledged the garden out loud. The mushroom said, "Good, now let us go outside." My arm was pulled again, this time toward the front door. I live in a dense city, and the thought of going outside while tripping made me nervous. I told the mushroom I was uncomfortable, that I did not want people to see me flailing about. The mushroom responded by grabbing my foot, spinning my leg, then grabbing both arms and pulling me toward the door. I repeated my fear, but the mushroom kept saying, "Trust me." I said, "I trust you, but I need to put on my slippers first." I could not find my slippers, so I asked the mushroom for help. It told me they were under the ironing board in the kitchen. I checked, found them, slipped them on, and walked toward the door. I felt the mushroom leading me, tugging at my spirit as I walked to the garden. I knelt in front of the newly planted strawberry bushes. I felt self-conscious, worried that my neighbors could see a tripping person kneeling in the yard. I hurried back inside, and the mushroom seemed a little irritated. It said, "If you feel shy, sit in a chair outside, and then you will look like you are simply enjoying the evening breeze." I was not sure there was a chair in the yard, but I trusted the mushroom and went back outside. A lawn chair was indeed against the back wall of the house. I pulled it out and sat down. The mushroom told me to look at the grass. As I stared, the grass seemed to move, as if it were alive with visible energy. My cat, which normally roams far from the house, was sitting beside me, chewing on some of the blades. I asked the mushroom if the grass minded my cat eating it. It said, "The grass does not mind. That is what plants are for, to be eaten, to give nourishment, to heal." It added that when we cut, burn, or trash plants, the plants become angry with us. The mushroom began to fade, but it still tugged at me, urging me to get up. I thought perhaps it wanted me to take a walk. I walked out into the alley behind my house, but no matter which direction I went, I felt the mushroom pulling me back the other way. I realized later that the mushroom was trying to bring me back to the garden, but its messages were weak at that point, and I was getting frustrated because I could not understand. I walked around my block twice, through the alley, thinking I was supposed to find a clue. Eventually, I returned to the lawn chair, sat down, and asked for one final sign. A robin swooped down and landed on the neighbor's garage. It turned its head toward me, sang a short song, and then flew over my head. The garden lay directly between me and the robin. I understood that the robin was pointing me back to the garden. I stood up and moved toward the garden again, but the mushroom was now very faint. I asked if there was anything more it could teach me, or if I should go back inside. The mushroom gave one last, exasperated tug, pulling me toward the house as if to say, "Fine, go back inside. I am done with you." I felt its disappointment that I had missed its lesson. I went back into my apartment, lay down on the bed, and felt a heavy sadness. I thought I had let the mushroom down. I reached into my stash, felt the remaining mushrooms vibrate softly against my fingers, and whispered, "Mushroom, I love you, I trust you, I am sorry for missing the lesson." The mushroom's final message was, "Trust that I love you too." Reflection. The day began with a broken car and ended with a deep sense of connection to something larger than myself. The mushroom showed me that trust starts with trusting the spirit that offers the lesson. It forced me to face a blockage that I did not know existed, and it made me purge both physically and emotionally. The vision of abundance reminded me that I already have many gifts, and that the ego often hides them. The encounter with the healing plant taught me that plants are allies, that there is a hidden battle between forces that protect the green world and forces that seek to destroy it. I promised to become a steward of the plants, to listen to their needs, and to protect them when possible. The physical movements, the pulls on my arms, the trips to the bathroom, the fear of being seen, the search for slippers, the cat on the grass, all of these were real, tangible parts of the experience. They were not just symbols, they were the way the mushroom communicated through my body. By letting go of control and allowing the pull, I learned that trust is not a passive idea, but an act of surrender. When I finally accepted the pull toward the garden, even though I was afraid of neighbors, the mushroom softened its approach and gave me a chair. That small adjustment showed me that trust also means listening to the guidance and adjusting when needed.